Read Absolute Martian Manhunter issue 10. We are in a colorful mess where now John is now in a war zone, which really gives off the vibe of Vietnam. You have this man just operating like John Wick, just going through explosions. But this is not something that's in reality. This is something that's within the mind, where I feel like these constructs are made by the character Rainbow, where even Despero is also liking this whole ordeal, because think about all the negativity that comes from this. Because even though war is described as a drug, because you got to think about it, it hits your dopamine levels, gives you an adrenaline rush. But this is also things that comes with a consequence, and that is PTSD. Where I feel like when it comes to Rainbow being on John's trail, I think we're also getting a peek into his backstory as a character who is controlled by the system of the red, white, and blue, and that is the U.S., who is willing to carry out his bidding and take on anybody that threatened it, was just John and the Martian. A part of me wants to feel like with everything that has been seen within these panels of him taking on John, it's also his trauma, especially when you're saying something like a dark cloud will follow you for all your days, and you think this is where John meets his end. But his end is not met because clearly he survived the ordeal, but I just feel like that is the Martian coming to save him in a clutch. Where now you have Rainbow mesmerized by the fact that he survived that. Or eventually it makes him lead to his great escape. You now have him and Despero on the way to go get John up out of that jam. And the more I've read this is a man who is also coming within his power, and I've noticed that he's not even paying attention to Despero. Where now we have the agency meetup and also the Martian. I'm just seeing that John is just coming off as the type of man who just doesn't seem like he has nothing to lose at this point. And now we have a reunited John and also Martian. And with them being reunited on top of Despero being in the mix, I really want to see where this dynamic is going to go to as far as when it comes to issue 11. Because right now, John has a lot on his plate. Not only has he had to deal with the agency, you also got to deal with the fact that I think your son is being possessed by a white Martian. A little boy who is also playing into his mother's mind. Where John will go back to his family and he'll be seen as a target. But imagine this family dynamic when you proceed to sit there and go to a woman that you love and she's about ready to unalive you. Now that's a character dialogue that I cannot wait to see. Think about this. You have Martians mixed in with a broken family dynamic. John not really being in the house due to his job and him dealing with the Martian. And it's going to be a sight to see because I just know that issue 11 and 12 is just going to hit just right.